There are three talks lined up for today's sessions: the Christian family, the Christian in the marketplace, and life in the Holy Spirit. Let us proceed with the first talk, the Christian family. Marriage is a sacred covenant ordained by God. And building strong Christian families is essential for the well-being of individuals, communities, and society. Let us explore how we can strengthen our relationship as spouses and how we can fulfill our parental responsibilities in a manner that reflects the love and guidance of our Lord. Our speaker for the talk on the Christian family is Bro Jormin Plaza. Bro Jules works at the office of the Ombudsman, Region 8. She is married to Sis Litlet, and they have 3 children, all girls. Bro Julmain has been with Bclp Tacloban for 9 years, a current serving our chapter head. He served as a mission director, secretariat of the breakfast team, and action group leader. Let us welcome Bro Jules.
Good afternoon once again, brothers and sisters. Kuan ano? Okay ba kabutang yan na? Baga, diri pa ba kita kinakaapoyhan ikapira na nga Saturday? Kaupat. Tapos ikapira nga Wednesday hit iba. Di ba? May the Saturday, may Wednesday. So, nonetheless, if it is for the Lord, di ba? We can make the sacrifice. So my topic today is Christian family. Before I start the Christian family in my talk, it would be fitting to first introduce you to my family. And before introducing you to my family, I would like to introduce you first kung hinot nagtikang hiningag pamilya, kung hinot diriuwat, kung hinot gudit culprit hiniya. Amo dihiya. It una. Slide, sis. Sige, sis. Ito iya. Ito iya dito nataguhain ka na. Natago ya kan sis Gwen Luyo na di iya pagpakita. Hiya ito hinungdan na akong family. Kay way back 27 years ago, siguro, or tama ba? 1997? Ginbibinantayan ako ito ni Halabia San Carlos na eskwelahan. No, paggagawas ko eskwelahan, ang klase, ito yan, dito't may ang department na mo na ground floor na San Carlos. Marami ito yung Brad Randy, kay bats ko man. Pero be honest man ko, no, balitaw ako at ito nagbabantay. Nga gumawa siya, umagi. Now, ito nga pagbinantay led us to have 3 children. Ito hirang at tulong at children at a very young age. Well, I was still 20 or 21 that time. And she was, before she graduated, before niya pumaso, well, may na niya premyo. Dako na niya tiyan, napaso niya. Kaya may insistent man ko diya, sige man bantay hakon. So, ginpagbigyan ko iya. Our marriage, no, our union is already 24 years, 8 months, and 29 days. Mamaya mo ito kadetalyado. Kung civil wedding pala ito na. Civil wedding. Kung na church wedding, 23 years kami and 11 months and 9 days gihap. Kita ka ito. Giniihap ko good every day. Siring panira, every minute, every second of the day. These three children of ours, ito na aadi ha right side, pinaka-right is Jerbrelane, 24 years old. It iya sapit, ti iya mama, tak eldest. Balito, itong far left is my second daughter, Riza Main, 20 years old. And it aadahit akon sapit, titak left, is our youngest, 15 years of age. Bagating ano kami, na in love. Char. Of course, moving forward dito, kahit aton talk, kay siyempre, di rin man kita maka-forward ito in Christian family about what is Christian family if I will not introduce my own family. So this talk proper will have 3 objectives. First objective is to stress the importance of marriage and the need to build a strong Christian family. Dapat tinit, nagtotok, bro, Christian ko. Kahit iya family nga daan, Christian na. Hey bro, Christian. Or hey bro, Christian haka. Balita, joke lang. Second objective is to strengthen relationships between spouses. Our first objective, kaya mo inihit foundation, strong family. The second objective, the relationship between the husband and the wife, is seen as the key to maintaining a strong family, which leads us to our third objective, which is to have parents seriously assume the responsibility over their children. Kay dapat, ideally, the parents should be the role model for their children. Okay? Marriage and family, according to our manual, in this talk, next slide, are counted among the most precious of human possessions. The marriage and the family. Families are the basic units of human society. Haaton sosyudad, family is the basic unit, no? And we cannot take away the fact that, well, not all of us had the opportunity to live in an environment of a Christian family. That's a fact. But, nonetheless, what matters most is our choice now to live in a Christian family. It is now our choice. A family starts with a man and a woman, and a man and a woman united with God. And we call it, brothers and sisters, as marriage. Second slide, please. As I have said, because the family is the basic unit of society, the well-being of the individual and both human and Christian society bound up here with the healthy state of the conjugal and family life. If the family life is healthy, it will affect and produce a healthy community and society. Moving forward, brothers and sisters, as I have said, a union between a man and a woman is called marriage, and it is an institution created by God. And why is that? Sakto good. Nauyon. Kaya pag siring ko nga institution created by God, boom! Kung ang diyan tao, nauyon niya ato na talk this afternoon. You know, our scriptures, the Bible, is replete of passages that talks about God's intention to join man and woman together in the bond of marriage. Amo ito nga, marriage is an institution created by God. The intention of the Lord can be seen in these passages. Let's take, for example, this passage in Genesis. The Lord said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." And that is the intention of the Lord, brothers and sisters, from the very start. For man not to be alone and not to live in solitude. The Lord intended the man to have a partner who will be instrumental in the fulfillment of his plans. And we will later learn what is the plan of the Lord for this man and woman. God didn't design human beings to live in solitude. That is why He created the woman for the man, to live together as one in an institution called marriage. In other words, brothers and sisters, Jesus made another person from the same man and built it with the purpose of being the man's companion. This, brothers and sisters, sometimes will create in issues as we move along later. Mano-notice naton, ma-recognize naton ang difference between the previous mindset han aton framers, kumbaga kung ano gud ang gintikangan ba kay anong nagkamayda hindi nga klase nga relationship within a man and a woman, and why is it that a woman is being taken from the man as his companion, the relationship between them. For this reason, the Lord laid down Matthew on what the man should do to sanctify the institution of marriage. It is said in Matthew, "For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother, and shall join with the woman, and the two shall become one." Hinay-hinay na unfold ang purpose or intention ni Lord for the man and the woman. First, ang iyasering is para may the companion, for man not to live alone. So He made another. And for this purpose, because marriage is an institution created by God, the first instruction was for the man to leave his father and mother to be with the woman. By bringing, this is foundation, brothers and sisters, no? It is in the context of a relationship that is intended for a man to honor his wife. He has to leave his own parents to be with someone and to live with that someone and make a family. And that institution that they live in is what we call as marriage. The next passage will tell us, brothers and sisters, that since they have been together, they are already one, and that union is created by God and God is with them, they are no longer two but one. Therefore, let no man separate what God has joined together. But mind you, brothers and sisters, this command is not easy. Precisely because the man and the woman have different attributes. Mag-iba it ugali, mag-iba iton perspective. Tapos pagod, di ba, brothers? Makuri ba pag-live with the woman? May yes, ayaw ka. Di ako nag-i-insight No. It makes it more difficult. Why? Because we are human. And what makes it easier is if we recognize that God is with our marriage. Then, with that, we will have a better understanding of the other half. For those of us who are married, we know for a fact that the snares of the devil is always upon us, will tempt us to act not in accord with what Jesus told us. This is especially true when God is calling us to follow Him. It is then that we are most vulnerable. Especially, brothers and sisters, when you are already here attending the Bclp. Now, in fairness to those who are not yet married, don't worry because this talk is not only about married couple. This talk also will keep us or keep you abreast of what you will do at the time when you decide to get married. Or what you will do para you will be ready when the time comes. One thing is clear, brothers and sisters. Jesus has time and again reminded us that God's plan for marriage is procreation and the building of a family. Iya ito intention. Really. That's the purpose niya for creating the man and the woman. Now, that's ideally. For in the beginning of this union, God blessed them by saying, next slide please. God blessed them by saying, be fertile and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Go to the world and multiply. Marriage, therefore, brothers and sisters, is the foundation of a Christian family. And from that sprouts Christian community. So, what is God's commandment then to the man and the woman in the bond of marriage? Ano niya siring? Diba? Ano niya siring? Go to the world, be fertile and go to the world and subdue it. But it is not easy. May niya ginhatag nga instruction to the man and the woman. Amo ini ito na key that will bring us from our first objective to our second objective, which is the relationship between the man and the woman. And that, brothers and sisters, ng instruction ni Lord is, first, is submission. Second, is mutual love and respect, equality, and intimacy. That God did not just command the woman to stay together and procreate. He also laid down this guidance for them to embrace the institution that God has created. Ini nga four principles, brothers and sisters, between the husband and the wife are the essential ingredients in building a Christian family. First, we will tackle submission. Ini, brothers and sisters. Submission. This passage in Ephesians 5, verse 22 to 25, inihiya nga, wives should submit to their husbands as if to the Lord, because the husband is head of his wife, just as Christ is head of his body, the church. Pero inihiya, brothers and sisters, nga commandment ni Lord, before this one, the Lord already commanded the man to leave his parents to be with the wife. Diri inihiya, brothers and sisters, the submission of the wife haaton context of authority, of being mere subordinate. Natawa sis. Kaya nung niya, mapusya ko nga, wives, pamati ka mo. Nga dapat sa... No. That is the patriarchal understanding of submission. As our times move to the modern era, brothers and sisters, inihiya nga concept of submission has evolved. Hanuna manggod kay di ba may damang kita patriarchal man before, wherein the woman before are only second class before. An irala importance before haton mga hanaton during those times was to help in the procreation. But mind you, brothers and sisters, ito hiya nga klase nga thinking has already evolved because that is not what the Lord intended. Among ani ito, brothers and sisters, that in our talk before in what is God-like, we learned that importante hiya nga iton aton perspective is first, we believe that there is God. Kay kung diri kita na believe that there is God, we will have a different perspective on what is being espoused by the secular humanists. So before that, no, husbands, nasiring ito't continuation hininiya nga passage. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loves His church. He gave Himself up for her. Husbands should love their wives as they do their own bodies. This passage, brothers and sisters, doubtless reflect features of the prevailing understanding, as I have said, on the patriarchal system. But we have to transcend beyond that understanding. This matter, brothers and sisters, has been a question and has been an issue for the feminists. In fact, when Pope Francis was in Belgium, during itong iya conversation and iya istorya dito, may daos nga group nga nag-ask kay iyan question. He was asked kung ano itong role of women at church now in the modern church. And Pope Francis replied, brothers and sisters, that he said, let us note that the word, he said that let us note that the word church connotes the Italian word for ceseia, which is a feminine noun. So, it is consistent with what the scripture said, that the Lord is the head of His church. Because the church is a feminine word, as a feminine word in Italian, is considered as the Lord's partner. And He is the head of the church. And the members of the church are us. He continued to say, brothers and sisters, Pope Francis continued to say that, for a while, that a woman within the people of God is a daughter, a sister, a mother. He said, in addition, womanhood speaks to us of fruitful welcome, nurturing, and life-giving dedication. Brothers and sisters, inihiya nga iya response, the feminist, at nga nag-question ha iya nga secular humanist and the feminist did not like the answer of Pope Francis. They were not contented. They feel nga kulang ang baton ni Pope Francis because for them, they were espousing, of course we know that, the gender equality. They were espousing that women should now be allowed to celebrate Mass, to celebrate the sacrament of marriage. But mind you, brothers and sisters, that's why I said na an aton perspective, ang pagtikang hantok on what is God-like, is we have to believe that there is God. These people nga nag-ask kan Pope Francis, iba ang era perspective because they do not believe that there is God. They believe in equality of human beings. They believe that we are all free to do what we want. And since we are all equal, man and woman, whatever the man does, the woman can do also. Well, brothers and sisters, that is correct. But for purposes of our faith, and for purposes here, the BCBP, we have to transcend beyond that understanding. We have to go above that understanding. And how are we going to transcend? We have to put God in it. If we believe that there is God, brothers and sisters, we will not see the words of Pope Francis that a woman is a mere childbearer, a mere forbearer of children, nga mere lahiya paanakan. Di ba? You will see the value of women. If we put Jesus in it, makikita natin ang importance and worth ng women. That without them, Jesus Christ will not have been born. And without them, diri matutuman an promise ni Lord for our salvation because Jesus would not have been born. And brothers and sisters, to continue with that, here in the BCBP, we are slowly giving value to women. And in fact, we are having ladies' breakfast also for women to empower our women. That is why, brothers and sisters, you may note that some of you here were invited, the ladies here were invited into the BCBP. Even so, that the BCBP is a men-led organization. And that fact alone speaks how we value our women as our partner here in the BCBP. Without our wives, without our ladies here, we would not be able to perform the duties and responsibilities given to us as we serve the Lord here in the BCBP. Permi daw kamo ito mag-aaway. Kay permi man, di ba bro doon? Bisan service, brothers and sisters, for example, in my experience, when we are offered service, masiring nga, bro, pwede ka ba ikaw at mag-course leader? Yan ang CLP. The devil will always tempt us. Mag-aaway good ito permanente ang husband and wife. And sometimes, masiring husband, di ka good na mamatitok, submit ka dapat taak. And that is the work of the devil, brothers and sisters. But eventually, they will reconcile. Nataway sis Eva, kay bangin nag-aaway ka pa day nira kung nagsaserve. Eventually, they will reconcile and transcend to that human understanding because together, we serve the Lord, brothers and sisters. In fact, brothers and sisters, with this empowerment of women here in the BCBP, they were able to talk to each other. And last night, brothers and sisters, during our first Friday Mass and teaching, kita, brothers and sisters, ginprank ang mga husbands. Kay nag-iristorya man nila. Our ladies here are empowered, brothers and sisters. Kita, I was just lucky enough nga nakadto ako sugod. Pero naupod gap ngayon ako, hanira prank. I thought na dire ako upodhan prank, kaya nawaray ako din naupod ngayon gap ako. That's just a segue, brothers and sisters, to drive in the point that in our modern times and even the BCBP recognizes now the role of women here in our community. And that is why our lady participants here, that's why you were invited. Even so that the BCPP is a men-led organization. We are seeing you as part of the future of this community. Now, moving forward, inihiya nga submission should be seen in a context of, next slide, mutual love and respect. In that context, brothers and sisters, husbands, love your wives as Christ loves the church. Amutan commandment, as I have said earlier. Husbands should love their wives as they do their own bodies. Mutual and loving fidelity presupposes the fundamental equality of this man and woman in the marriage. The church does not want the subjection of the wife to the husband's dictates. Rather, the teaching of the church is that there must be subordination in love. Amo itong sisiring ko, brothers and sisters, we have to transcend from our own human understanding. And we can only do that if we put God in the center of it. Jesus wants us to understand that mutual love and respect is a key to embracing the human frailties and weakness of the other spouse and voluntarily changing ourselves for the better and for our spouses and to foster a relationship with God at the center of it. It gives us that idea, brothers and sisters, na diri ngay ansakto an aton notion of this submission nga dapat the wife will submit to the dictates of the husband. But it should be with mutual respect and it should be with equality, which is now the third mandate. St. Paul carried this principle of equal rights into the home. Brothers and sisters, he said that for the wife does not rule over her own body, but the husband does. Likewise, the husband does not rule over his own body, but the wife does. This is equality, brothers and sisters, in the eyes of the Lord. Married couples are then reminded to put into heart this meaning of equality. This brings us, brothers and sisters, to the last instruction of the Lord, which is intimacy. You will now see the picture, brothers and sisters. A man should not live in solitude. That's why there is a woman. And they should be united together as one body. And this is the purpose, Nira, one of the purpose, the relationship, the instruction is for intimacy. Surely, if husbands and wives should transcend beyond the ordinary meaning, anak insisiring kanina, they will have this mutual love. Then by God's commandment, they will fulfill that God's commandment of being fertile and subduing the earth. Because the intimate partnership of married life and love has been established and qualified by His laws and is rooted in the conjugal covenant of irrevocable personal consent. It has to be with personal consent. And that is the very basics of ito nga commandment ni Lord for procreation. Now, brothers and sisters, with that commandment of the Lord to the husband and wife, we now move on to the third objective of the relationship, brothers and sisters, and responsibilities or the obligation to the children. Because the Christian family's mission, brothers and sisters, is to present itself as a family before the Lord. It has to be, the parents should be the role model to their children. With that relationship of submission, of mutual respect, equality, and intimacy, our children will see and emulate from that. And from that, when they will have their own family, the seed that we have planted, maririp na nira ito dida. Next slide, brothers, Asis. Next slide. Now, the obligation, as I have said earlier, moving forward. Parents have the obligation to pass on the faith and to educate them in it. They are to accomplish this by word and example. They offer them wise guidance in the choice of vocation. Parents has to assert with vigor the right and duties to give the children a Christian upbringing. We or they should not be passive onlookers. When we notice, brothers and sisters, something different, we have to correct our children. But mind you, at present, this is not easy. Especially so, kay iba na generation niya na. Kung ang gagamiton naton pag-discipline aton children, in my own experience, the way that we were disciplined back then, diri na ito hiya ma-work this hininga generation. You know why? Iba na kasi iton modern, ano nga niraya na nga generation? Z ba? Or may da pa? Alpha Gen, di ba? Kay Z, then era Alpha Gen. Iba na era ito yan. In my experience, brothers and sisters, I tried to implement the type of discipline that I have when I was still a child with my children. Pero it did not work. Why? At first, even itong kaunan nga nangangaong kami, because one of my daughter is outspoken. Pag may mga issues surrounding, na-comment nga niya ako, ma-comment ito hiya. Di rin naman ito amo pa. Kay nasiring nga Twitter, Siguro pa ko magkita Twitter. Kaya na ako YouTube. So, iba't aad dito na. Siring nga ko. Kudiri amin. At the end of the day, kung gagamiton ko na akong klasihan pag-discipline before, nag-iisog ako during meals. Anay daw? Dirito amo ngayon, dapat sugad din dapat magkukuang ka mo, kay amo ni sakto. And it causes a rift. Sometimes, kay napipirdi ako, nag-iisog ako. Nag-iisog ako, kaon nida. Later on, I realized, diri amo, brothers and sisters, this is not the way the Christian teaching. I have to adjust. Ako ang nag-adjust, my daughters. And lo and behold, brothers and sisters, kung nangangaon kami when we are together, I am not saying that my family is better than yours. I'm just saying that this is my experience. Nangangaon kami, marisyo kami kung nangangaon. Kay baga kamit magburog to laliwat nga tanan. Kay ginbubuli liwat ako nira. I'm not saying a good itong bullying, but what I'm saying is, may da kami band nga sugad dito, nga dire kami nagdidebate, but I found a key for them to understand what I want, and I also found the key on how to understand my children. So this is part for me, brothers and sisters, as my obligation for my children. And my wife's obligation. Kay my wife, nayakan ito hiya. Nga, kanina nag-isog ka na liwat. Oh. Hiya ito akon safeguard. Di ba? Nakaabot ba ka mo ng advertisement and safeguard? Ako ang inyong konsensya. Oh. Hiya ito permita akon konsensya. Kauhuman nito, mayakan ito hiya. Nga, pamati ko dirad to amo, ngayon mo gimbuhat. Pati hiya, ginaway ko dayon liwat. Nahugup ka lang mga anak, bisan diri siya. But I have changed, brothers and sisters. We are not perfect. We are all here sinners, but we are moving towards a relationship with the Lord. So, in my experience, I have learned that, and maybe, we will attain this commandment of the Lord. So, moving forward, brothers and sisters, the family now is facing challenges. One of the challenges is from secular humanists. Ining a secular humanism, sige, next slide, please. Secular humanism and economic pressures. Now, secular humanism, contrary to popular misconception, secular humanism is a movement with specific people promoting a well-defined declaration of principles. May danira belief. Ano? Ha? Sobra ka na kuno. Kita ka, di ba? Safeguard ko na iya. Thank you. The secularist challenges the foundation of the family. But because their belief is not really in line with the belief of Christianity or dogma of faith. Because they believe that each and every one of us should be entitled to our own happiness, minus the Lord. They believe only our own happiness. Kumbaga. So, dirhiya consistent with our faith. So, that is why amo iniya iton one of the challenges that is facing the family. Prevalent issue is abortion. They feel that when the woman does not want to bear a child, kay para iya it's a burden, dirhiya magiging happy, he has the right to give up the child. And that is, brothers and sisters, not consistent with our faith. There are other issues, brothers and sisters, but ito lang example nga akong ginhatag. Now, in a example, next slide, of secular humanism, ito nga Divino Redemptoris is a publication. Nasiring ito hiya, nga secular humanist aim is to campaign for the minds of the people of the Christian faith, kumbaga, to take that belief out of their minds in the Christian faith, nga waray God, and to overthrow the existing civilization founded on that faith. Nga we can live without religion, we can live without God. We can live by our own, and we can live through our own pursuit of happiness and not the fullness of life with Jesus Christ, as what we have been saying to you. Economic pressures, poverty, unemployment, and high prices of basic commodities move, brothers and sisters, women and even husbands to look for jobs nga sobra hanira time just para makabuhi hanira mga anak, to the point of living hiton children with the lolos and the lolas, the aunties, uncles, and sometimes didtohan neighbors. Ito nga concept is challenging the Christian family. Na-cause here, brothers and sisters, in a situation wherein the children grow without the guidance of the parents. Okay, because ang pursuit naton, because of this ka-Korean, high price, high basic commodities, we want to earn for a living, ibilin talaan na itat mga anak dito kay after the 4 hours or the 8-hour shift, may da naliwat. So, unmindful siguro kita hinihiya because as mga young professionals din we are still in the pursuit of our careers, to develop our careers. But when you are already in a family, be mindful of this one, because children growing up without the guidance of the parents, we will not be fulfilling the commandment that the Lord has given us to guide our children, because that is His purpose, to build a Christian family, building homes for God. So what can we do, brothers and sisters? The challenge to us, married and non-married couples, para in the future, no? The challenge that is given to each and every one of us is to decide if you want your family to live in an environment and Christian life. So how are we going to live in an environment of Christian life? The Lord said that we have to plan and take the time to build a strong family with Christian values. So you have to bring your family. Kung masudoy naman la kamo, makadto naman la kamo ibang lugar, in my own experience sa akong family, if we go to a different place, we go to church first. At least we are putting the Christian values. At the same time, we are enjoying and having fun with the family. Second, brothers and sisters, is to schedule your priorities to ensure that the family has time together. Amidst the busy life, our work, the demands of our work, our careers, busy kita, may da kita service to the Bclp, we try to bring and our family, we try to schedule a time for our family, for our children, to bond together. Also, brothers and sisters, we are encouraged to schedule frequent family recreation. Last 3 minutes. Like going out in movies, eating out, etc. Just what kami kasi family, ito na amon pinaka recreation panghaon. Amo ito nga bisan anhon, di gud naguti tiyan. Kay mga nga masay nga mag-diet kita or masay mag-jogging kita, magja-jogging kami upod ang mga anak, makadto kami grandstand. Pagkahuman masay marasa mat sabaw. Pagulpot iba na diri la sabaw. Ang ngaon or diri juice la ako. Kaumanan juice, mauli balay, pag-uli balay mga ngabre. Nga kaon na liwat. Mag-i-restaurant lot kami nangangaon. Anyway, that's one of the suggestion. Another suggestion is to pray together. The family that prays together stays together. Brothers and sisters, we have to bring our family to the church, because the church is the body which is connected with the Christ who is the head. From that, brothers and sisters, we will teach our youngs and our children with the Christian value. Another suggestion is participate in church services and activities together as a family. Iniya, brothers and sisters, from the Bclp activity gindadaranam. Here in the Bclp, we have the family Lenten retreat. We have also the family day. Come October 27, after your graduation on 26, we will have our family day. We will be bringing our children so that they will bond also with the other families coming from the BCBP members. And lastly, brothers and sisters, we are encouraged as parents to assume the responsibility as educators to teach our children Christian faith and morals. Sometimes nawawara na siguro ha iba itong praying before meals. And that's already basic. Kaya we thank for the Lord for the blessings that has given us. And aside from that, we are teaching our children to be thankful and grateful for the blessings that bestowed upon us. So, finally, brothers and sisters, a challenge again for us, and a challenge for each and everyone. Do you want your family to live in an environment of Christian life? Do you want, brothers and sisters? The choice is yours. The choice is yours, brothers and sisters, because God is counting on you. This is very important because your choice will be the foundation of the future families that will build the homes for Christ. Thank you, brothers and sisters, and good afternoon.